Right, so what is your
What
view?
do you think?
I think it's wrong.
Why?
Why?
It's always interesting when you take an extreme situation and stretch it, which is what he's done. There is some truth in what he said, but it's not the whole truth. The thing about technology is this: with technology comes new responsibilities and new ways of doing things. So, the whole idea about people and their phones and not paying attention to other people, the argument could also be that there are whole families who are reunited and speak every day because of this technology. Long before Skype and all this stuff had video, I worked with a technology for Adobe called the Flash Communication Server then, and it's now the Adobe Media Server. So we were really the first wave of people to build video conferencing systems on the web with the Flash technology. I have friends who are my friends till today who I've never seen in person. We have conversations, we talk about projects, I know their wives, I know their children, and I've never met them. And that experience would have been taken away from me if there was no technology. It's possible to do work over thousands of kilometers without having to meet the people, and still, you know them. You know them implicitly. And with video technology, it's not like a phone call where, you know, it's a voice behind. You can actually see the person, the person's emotions, what the person feels, and, you know, their physical responses are thrown at you. Yes, some of that stuff is true, but it's not entirely true. When I first joined Facebook,
How long ago was that?
which is a while ago, I used my name and found that my inbox was inundated with hundreds of emails every day. So I switched it off and changed my name to an alias, which I prefer. So I pick my friends, the people who are really my friends, and I keep in touch with them. And when I send a friend request, they look, okay, that's Ayo, and then they join. So now I have a friends list, and they're my friends. They're not, I don't judge them by the number of likes or whatever. They are my friends. And so it depends on, you know, it's like, you know, I think the best analogy is if we look at the gun thing. I say guns kill people. No, it's people with guns that kill people. If you put a gun on the table, it doesn't do anything. It's someone who has to take it and point it and shoot. So it's what you do with the technology that either alienates you or brings you closer to people. And that's my take on it. There are no good ways or bad ways. There are only ways, and you make the choice as to what way you want to walk.
Okay, if I may come in, he was so emphatic about Skype, talking about his friend. I think earlier on we were talking, you live in Abuja, your office, business, family, everything. I have my family in Abuja, and one of the ways that I really interact and get to feel them is via Skype.
Exactly.
You understand? So I think when we saw this video, she was like, oh, we'll play it. No, that I was like, let's play it. I think it has over 10 million views.
Yes, of course.
Something happened. There's this friend that I have. All she does is communicate with me on WhatsApp. Oh, okay. WhatsApp BBM. And I now sent this video to her via WhatsApp. And the next day she just showed up. I was like, okay, this is strange.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You understand? She was like, you pricked my conscience with that video. You get, you get. But I agree that we should find a way to balance the
Absolutely,
whole thing.
that's the thing. I mean, what is the point of going out to dinner with somebody if you're going to spend all the time checking your email?
Very true, very true.
Before I came to Nigeria, I always tell people, I had a mobile phone because I was a mobile phone developer, but I hardly used it for anything other than testing software. I don't use it because in England, of course, you have so many other forms of communication. You don't need, it's because the mobile phone in Nigeria has become the primary voice communication tool. That's why you have to carry it. But in England, your phone works. So you have your fixed phone at home. If someone doesn't get you, they leave a message.
Yes.
So I don't need to use my phone. All I do is if I need to text or even email, but it was really for work. Technology, of course, adapts to geolocation. So coming to Nigeria, you find that people tend to use mobile phones a lot more.
Yes.
Because really, it's become the primary form of communication.
Very true.
So, you utilize it that way. But you just need to adapt the technology to a new way of behavior, a new way of being, and then it's fine.
Right, very true. Well, we can continue this debate for a very long time, but we have to go on a break. Don't worry, we'll be right back with more from Ayo. TTYL. Bimi was asking DJ Pope, what's your plan? What exactly is your plan?
My plan in what sense?
Okay, you've been playing some songs like twisting a bit.
No, because we need to liven up the whole show and everything, so that's why.
Oh, it's getting better.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Late Night Show. We have the MD of Press Ads, Mr. Ayo Binitie, with us right here today, all the way from Abuja. How long are you in Lagos for?
For a couple of days.
Okay. Now, Ayo, a little birdie told me that apart from, the whole technology aspect, you like to keep fit yourself?
Yes.
Yes. And you taught a particular celebrity, Hollywood celebrity, how to do a particular form of fighting, should I say?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Do you want to tell us more?
Sorry,
I'll give you
before you brag, I'm a master. So.
I totally accept.
I'll give the audience a clue. This guy was a lead character in Batman Begins. Am I lying?
That's correct.
Please tell us about this. I mean, how did that happen?
It's a very funny. It was a strange. It was a strange story, actually.
Okay, let me just quickly tell them. He taught Christian Bale how to do Thai boxing.
Whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a strange story. I got some guys coming to. Actually, I got a phone call first from my instructor in Manchester, Master Scan, and he said, "I've sent some people to you because I think you're just the best person to do this job." So I said, "What job?" He said he wasn't telling me. I should just, when they call me, I should just attend to them. So I said, "Fine." And this guy called me and said he wanted a private class. So I said, okay, fine, let's meet at the gym, because where I lived in North London at the time, and there's an LA Fitness where I used to teach. So we went there, and I got there, and the guy had cameras and stuff. So I was like, what the devil is that? Anyway, so he says, actually, he'll pay me to run through a routine of what I teach, and then he'll get back to me. So at first, this guy just wants to get my moves, and then but I thought, yeah, if you're learning something, just watching me and yeah, perhaps, So I went through a whole series of moves, the elbows, the knees, just sort of broke it down. So punches, kicks, knees, elbows, stand-up grappling, all that stuff. And then the guy sort of disappeared. 2 weeks later, I get another call saying, we have selected you. I said, selected me for what? And he said, well, we want you to instruct. We're trying to find a very gritty style of fighting for a film we're doing, and we want you to come and teach the lead. I said, fine. Where? Shepperton Studios. Okay. So I go there to Shepperton. I drive to Shepperton Studios. And from where I live, it's like 1 hour to drive to Shepperton Studio. You train for 1 hour. So 3 hours, your day is just totally gone.
Yeah.
And if you get into that Richmond traffic, it's just a mess. So I said, okay, this is going to cost, because the 1 hour I'm teaching is 1 hour, but I've got probably another 1 hour, 30 minutes on each side. So it's a 4 hour thing. And, so the guy said, no problem, we'll pay. Okay. So I drive to Shepperton Studio. I go to the office. All the girls are all skittish and whatever. Oh, my God. It's like, what is this? So I bring the thing, and there's a form. It was codenamed the Intimidation Game. That was what it was called. It wasn't, I didn't know what it was.
Did you feel intimidated?
No, that was what was on the contract. In the contract, you can't talk about this for a while and blah, 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 blah.
Non-disclosure.
Non-disclosure agreement. So I signed. And then the girl says, do you know who I'm going to be teaching this? I said, no. And they said, Christian Bale. And I said, who?
Did you actually say who?
Yeah, because I didn't know who Christian Bale was.
You're not a movie person, right?
I am a movie person, but he was not really that big.
Then
at that point.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
Batman.
The Batman was really the film that catapulted him.
true.
I didn't know who he was. I just like, oh, okay, fine. So we go into this big hall, and Christian comes out, and we say hello, and we talk, and I tell him this is what we're going to do, and all that. It was at that point I realized that, I'd actually seen him in, there's a film about dragons that he did, I can't remember. Anyway, we talked about. And so we started training together, and I worked with him. He's a quick learner. He was quite humble. He's quite down to earth. We shared lots of really funny stories. Always used to amuse me if I was doing a punch in his direction. Don't!
Don't touch the
Don't. Just, he didn't mind. He didn't mind because he actually wanted to experience it. Man, those guys weren't having their lead messed up with any accident. So it was actually quite interesting because I watched them, and then there was a day we were training in another hall, and Liam Neeson was there as well at the corner there. He was working with some of the stuntsmen, and the stuntsmen actually that they used for the film had just come off Troy.
Wow, were you starstruck a bit?
No.
No, you're like, I beg, I'm Iowa.
They're just human beings, and a lot of them are actually nice guys. They just, Liam Neeson was there just sort of taking instruction and what to do and what. And that was primarily, they wanted me to also take part, be one of the ninjas in the thing. But I said, no, I didn't really want to.
You didn't want it?
Just, have you ever been an extra in a film before?
Well, if you put it like that.
It's the most boring job ever.
Because you have to wait.
You wait and wait and wait and wait, and there's bad coffee.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, okay, so come out, and then you'll come out and you'll do one thing, then cut, then do it, and then you go and sit down, you wait again till your eyes are bubbling. So I just...
Are you talking from experience?
Yes, because I had done a few.
Right. But do you use that as an icebreaker? I mean, like,
no.
Hey, babe,
Never.
I taught Batman how to fight.
Never. It's actually something that I never really talk about generally. Some people have asked me about it, and it's a matter of fact thing for me. It's yes, so I did. So yeah, that's just it. What did please me was that Christian seems to have continued, and he started to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and some MMA and all that. So that's cool.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry. How do you relax, if I may ask?
I kickbox.
Oh,
and
really?
I tried doing some judo.
And you have won the Nigerian Karate Championship
twice Nigerian champion. Yeah,
twice.
I was lecturing at that point. So it was really funny because I get back to class and got bruises everywhere. And my students were like, yeah, we watched you on TV yesterday. So know yourselves. Yeah, it was, yeah, I think it was the early 90s.
That's so impressive.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to bring you back to what you do now. You studied
Fine art.
Fine
fine arts.
yeah.
I know that could help in a way when it comes to what you do now.
It
because,
does.
Because
It
people
does.
don't really know that architects now, if they go into graphics design, they could be very, very good or can be very, very good. But so what you do now is digital marketing.
No,
or
well,
digital art.
It's online
advert.
digital advertising.
Yes.
Yes.
So how do you now blend it with what you do now? How does that
Well,
come
the
to
thing is,
play?
the first thing is that, okay, first of all, I was privileged to have taught fine art as well as practiced it. So from a pedagogical point of view and from a practice point of view, I have some experience. Now, advertising is visual.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever it is, the graphics or the visuals need to be right. And I can talk and critique my graphic artist because I know the principles of it. I know how color should work. I know how form should work. I know
Aesthetics.
how I know how the message should be. Because I find a lot of graphic artists here, they get so carried away with the beauty of the thing, they forget that actually the message is the most important thing,
Yes.
and the graphics just support the supporting cast.
Yeah.
So
I
it
was
works.
asking you.
that
I was
way.
asking you earlier on. I think my first question was off air was are you that you're a programmer?
Yes.
And your reply took me back. Anyway, how did you get to this level to be able to pull through?
It's just I wanted to do it, I guess, and I say something which sounds a bit facetious, but generally I don't do fail.
Okay. Okay.
So if I need to do something, then I'll find every which way I can to succeed at that. And that's primarily how it did come about. From learning HTML, which I taught myself, to learning JavaScript, and then moving into Flash because, of course, it was visual.
sure.
A lot of the things, when they're visual, I thought, you can animate and you can
Yeah.
create what I used to call moving painting. So you have a painting, but it can move. And then I discovered that actually just physical animation is not as cool as programmed animation, where it's responsive to your gesture
Yeah.
or to, it's responsive to an input, and that input is not predetermined. So I had to learn a bit about particle physics and how it works and what happens when you generate 10,000 particles. And when you do that, then you need to look at what happens to the CPU of the computer. And it's just like that. You want something and you learn, you ask people, you do this, you do that. And I guess that's the reason why I always people say, oh, you're good. No, I'm not good. I'm constantly learning something new every day. And that's how I see it.
And that's how you became the MD of...
If you have to choose
Simi?
apps, widgets, if you have to choose,
They're the same thing.
but if you have to choose with the way they run on platforms,
It's the same thing. It's
Okay.
really dependent on what you do. It's
Okay.
the work done that makes a good app. Whether an app is just a widget that's on your screen, but the app, you have to pull it up to
Yeah.
take over the screen. It's the same thing. It's down to how you write it so that the footprint is light. It's not hungry on your resource. It doesn't kill the battery. And in this place, you need to consider also the cost in terms of the user. So is it constantly requesting for data so that the person has to be online?
Yeah.
Or does it cache data so that when the person needs it, they can access it?
okay.
And
So
only when there's a change, it will need.
which would you prefer to develop, an offline app or an online app?
Both. Because there's really no difference.
No, go on.
There's no difference really. your offline app should work online or offline.
Yeah.
It's what they call, it's a graceful degradation from online to offline.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get back into this. But I love your statement, how you said that you do not do fail. Another person who does not do fail is Batman. So let's take a look at the Batman Begins trailer. What a throwback. And let's see some of the moves you taught Christian Bale himself.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.